Wow, I don't get the end of time. Like I get the Nikki gets the my whole life till end time, and thank you. I need that in this quarantine. I'm very lonely. I'm good. How are you guys? Dude, it is cold and rainy LA. This is perfect. Yesterday would have been bad, but today is just right. Oh no.
Wait, there we go. What is this, SEN? Hello. There we go. I know
It's
what's going on. Okay, so
funny because it's true.
let's start there. Let's start over. Hold on. Let's just do it again. It's loud. I can do this. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Going Rogue.
Wow.
You thought I was kidding, didn't
guys
you?
come
You
here
thought I
often?
was kidding. I have the power here. I have the power. You didn't see anything, but you do see Ben Goddard now.
Wow.
So yes, thank you for that chat. But yes, new domain for the Streamlabs, Andrew and Nikki.stream, Nicki. Don't spell it with two Ks, please.
Yeah, no, that's not me, baby.
But yeah, hopefully everybody's staying home and safe and practicing social distancing so we can get this shiznit over. I'm trying not to swear so much on this show because it's supposed to be a family-friendly show talking about Star
okay.
Wars.
Noted.
Yes. So,
Yeah, Nikki.
So let's go ahead and kick
Scruffy looking nerf herder.
Nerf herder.
Let's just use Star Wars insults the whole time.
You mangy Kashiki and moof milker.
Oh.
Ooh.
Laser
Man.
brains.
Oh my god.
But let's go ahead and start this stream off.
What is a
with,
moof?
I have no idea actually.
Well?
it's it's like I don't know. I'll look it up. I have to study. So
All right.
that'd be one of the things. But Hans says it. But let's go ahead and start this conversation, I should say, off with Clone Wars like we always do every week because season 7 of Clone Wars is still continuing. We are on episode 6, 5, 6. I think it's
7,
six.
I think.
It's 7. Okay, so yes,
'Cause
7.
It's 4 with the Bad Batch and then now 3 with Ahsoka.
Yeah, do you remember the title of this episode? Because I can't remember off the top of my
I
head.
don't. I'll do it right now though.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
jeez.
But just really quick, try not to spoil it for those who haven't seen it and aren't caught up on it. I really enjoyed this episode. The past
Okay.
two, the past two with Ahsoka and Trace and her older sister, Rafa. I was like, I don't get these. It's like I get that these people are selfish, and Rafa's like the bad influence on the younger sister that wants to go straight, and like I just don't see myself getting attached to them until this episode.
Dangerous debt.
Dangerous Step. Yes, thank you, Ben. Because that you go into a little bit more backstory on Rafa and Trace and why Rafa doesn't trust anybody and doesn't trust Jedi especially. And I love this backstory behind it because it ties into older episode of Clone Wars with when they break Zero the Hutt out of jail on Coruscant, and you see the repercussions of the Jedi's actions and stuff. So I really enjoyed that story.
Zero the Hutt is in this show?
Yeah. Past episodes, not this season. He's dead. He's
Is that
dead.
a spoiler?
he dead. He long dead.
Wait,
He
was
long
that
dead.
Do you
He
spoil
long
that for somebody out there?
If they haven't seen the episode.
I haven't
If you
seen the
didn't-
episode.
If you didn't know, Nikki, Andrew's real good at spoiling Star Wars shows for people.
Yes, I know. I'm
No.
sorry. I do it constantly on
He's
this
just
stream.
so excited about
I
everything.
love Star Wars. I love talking Star Wars. I don't know.
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, I haven't finished Rebels yet. Well, Ben, you should finish because Kanan died.
I spoiled Rise of Skywalker for our friend Skitza.
Skitza.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
How embarrassing.
yeah. But like, are you caught up on Clone Wars at all, Ben?
I'm all caught up. I watched
Good,
all
good.
three Ahsoka episodes today.
Nice. Wow. Binged it. I mean, they're not hard to binge. Like what, 30 minutes long?
Yeah, like
So that's
25
not so
minutes.
bad.
That's like an episode of like Lord of the Rings or not Lord of the Rings. Game
Definitely
of Thrones.
not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely not.
But what did you think of
Um,
this episode?
I really don't like Trace, and it's not because she's a bad guy.
Mhm.
She's just the dumbest character in Star Wars.
She's very naive.
Like, I would rather Ahsoka be teamed up with Jar Jar Binks than Trace, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Whoa.
just her decision to, and I won't try and get into too much detail, but like they get into this predicament because they're running spice for some gangs.
Yeah.
And while they're discussing what they want to do, because spice is like a drug in Star Wars,
It can be
whether
turned
it
into a drug, yeah.
Good or bad reasons. She dumps it all.
Yeah.
And then like at dinner, she's like, "Well, I have the fastest ship." And it's like,
Well,
it's like I realized that in this world, she's very naive.
Yeah.
Like, what is her age? Because
she's got to be no older than 16.
I was gonna say, because like you think, because how we're introduced to her is like she's like this cool, underground person that like knows the streets.
Mhm.
But then as soon as they go into space, it's just like whoop.
Yeah, everything.
Everything she learned on the streets is just gone.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
And that's the to be saying is like how much street cred does she have? Because her sister seems to have more street cred, but she just seems to make the worst decisions for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like continually doing these quick gigs and these quick jobs just to get ahead and not trying to make an honest living. Because Trace is the character that is easily trying to make the honest living and owning a shop and wanting to do the right thing. And but like her older sister Rafa is just like, oh, I got this new job for us. It's like, really, is another like quick scheme to get us rich again? And it continually becomes like the bad choice. Like both like for them and like ethically it's the bad decision, but she seems to be more in tune with what the world and what the galaxy is like than hers. And again, her sister is very, very naive. And so
but that's the thing, like when you introduce them, because like it seems like Trace has been introduced to gangsters because of that very first episode where she fights a few of them off with Ahsoka. But then like when she gets introduced to bigger gangsters, she has no idea what owing money means to anybody. Like
I think it's
dump crates of valuable resources. Like
I think she just dealt with like the smaller, like, you know what I mean? There's like she's dealt with like the neighborhood bully gangs, and she has no idea who like the Hutts or the Pikes or like those higher level like crime syndicates. So like she's just dealt with street thugs, and she's like, oh, this is what all gangsters are like. But then she gets into the real like threat of it, like whole like the bigger like crime syndicates, and it's like, oh wait, they're gonna take my ship now because I owe them something. It's like, yeah, Trace,
Oh, what an idiot.
So
well, it's just like and also we're on episode 7. There's 5 left, and granted, they can do a lot with 5. Basically 2.5 hours worth of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But where are they going with this? Like we kind of
don't know.
I liked some of the Bad Batch episodes, but it still felt a little bit of wheel spinning to me. And then especially with that first Ahsoka episode where it was literally nothing, like chasing down a droid. And I was like, this is Ahsoka. It's one thing to, introduce us to these badass stormtrooper characters and watch them kick a bunch of droid ass, and it's great. But this is Ahsoka. This is the person that's been missing, and people were dying to see in Rebels. We're excited for her one line in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And, like, have been wanting to see, like, oh, she just got announced for Mandalorian. Oh, my, yes, finally. I want to see what happens to this person. And they want to see this episode because we don't know what happened to her immediately after she left the Jedi Order. And you're going to team her up with a 16-year-old mechanic and run spice and what?
Yeah, out of the last 3 episodes, I would say this is kind of my favorite. It is my favorite out of these last 3 because they go a little deeper into character development and like just seeing why it's like, okay, this is why Ahsoka is with these characters, because Ahsoka for the longest time had this idea of like how the galaxy views the Jedi and like the war, like what the Jedi's role in the war is necessary. But then you get a character, she gets partners with these 2 characters that are in the lower levels of consciousness. They're normal people. They're very core. They're normal people that got really affected by the war and the struggle between the Jedi and the gangsters and everything, and the repercussions of the Jedi's actions. I like that concept of this episode, but I really don't like the characters themselves because they're just boring.
And again, with anybody else, like I love those like kind of slice of life Star Wars. Yeah. Like there was that thing that leaked that was supposed to be a Star Wars show. I can't remember what it was called. We talked about it on SCN. I can't remember what it was called.
The first that was supposed to be the first live action Star Wars that Lucas was trying to get off the ground. Yeah,
and that's why I like Mandalorian, because there are no Jedis. There, like, I mean, we got the dark saber at the very end, but that's still not Jedi. It's more Mandalorian stuff, and I like that. But not with Ahsoka. Not with this very integral
Mhm.
Jedi surrounding person that
Mhm.
everyone's been dying to see.
Yeah.
If it's season 5, middle of the road Clone Wars,
Yeah.
yes. When I have 12 episodes of Clone
Yeah,
Wars and then it's
exactly.
done forever, no.
And I feel like the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka is like the first 2 episodes that we got in Ahsoka with, we could have easily made that into one episode. Very
Yes,
easily,
absolutely.
and then jumped into here as the second episode in, because like in this episode, you actually see Bo-Katan there, and she's like hiding in the shadows, and she recognizes Ahsoka, sort of. So yeah, I just think I hope that the next episode is the last episode we get to deal with Trace and Rafa, and then Ahsoka gets brought back into the struggle of the Clone Wars. That's what I'm hoping for. Because the first 2 of this little story arc was just like, okay, that was kind of like you could have wrapped that up really, really easily, really quickly.
Especially when I believe how you end episode 2 of Ahsoka, they're locked up.
Yeah.
And then they escape, and then they get locked up again. I was
like,
wait,
that was
ran a big circle for 25 minutes.
That was my biggest complaint about this episode. I like the backstory with the two normies of this story, but the whole, when you all is said and done, they make like you said, they run a giant circle. Like, oh, we started and ended the episode and captured. It's like you really could have just ended the episode when they're surrounded by the Pikes, and then picked it up from there in the next episode.
Yeah, I thought like when he said, "I used them to lure you out," I thought he was talking to Bo-Katan. I thought those like I paused it and I was like, "Wait, are those the Mandalorians surrounding the Pikes?" But it wasn't, and I was like, "That's how you end it with the Mandalorians coming out of hiding and like showing what they're gonna do and teasing that." But you're just gonna lock them up again?
And I hate using the term filler episode, but the last 2 before this last one were like definitely felt very filler to me.
Yeah.
And especially when we have such a limited amount of episodes in the last season, you have no time for filler episode. Every episode needs to count.
Like 12 25-minute episodes, you think that they could easily, when a usual season of Clone Wars was like double that.
Yeah.
You think they wouldn't need filler episodes, so it seems like, I don't doubt Filoni or anything like that, but it's a little bit of wheel spinning here, and it's very surprising more than like disappointing, because I still got 5 episodes. I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Any chance that they like, hey, surprise with like a movie, like a Disney Plus only movie? It's like, hey, you thought there was only this many episodes? We're gonna give you like an hour and a half movie. Like that'd be
the way to do it. Like I've seen a lot of shows that don't get renewed, have like finish their season with the movie, and it works. Like I'd say like 80% of the time, so I'd be fine with that.
That'd be really cool.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like more of like what I expected versus what I'm getting.
Yeah, and that just seems to be the problem with Star Wars. We have all these expectations that we were building to, and then it's like, well, that really didn't meet my expectations, so I came out like unfulfilled, basically. So and that's just something we have to deal with as Star Wars fans. Like so a lot of people with Rise of Skywalker, that was the issue. A lot of people with Last Jedi, that was the issue. Yeah. So I don't know. We just got to temper our expectations, and hopefully they start delivering on these episodes with Ahsoka, and especially when they bring Maul into the mix, because I'm waiting for that, because they allude to this story in the Ahsoka novel, and like, oh, this is what happened, this conflict on this one planet, and it's like, I want to see that. And we're finally getting that now, so I'm excited for that.
Same.
What did you think, Nikki?
I should probably watch Clone Wars. You could tell me everything that happens in any animated thing, and it wouldn't make a bit of difference, because I'd be like, is that Clone Wars? Is that Rebels? Is that the other one?
If I was to give you out of these 3, I would say watch Rebels.
There's Rebels, there's Clone Wars, and then there's what's the third one?
Resistance. Resistance is another easy one to pick up, because
it's any of them apart.
It's only what, 2 seasons? 2 seasons?
I haven't touched Resistance. I can't get behind the animation. I can't do it.
I really like the animation style, and it was a lot like Clone Wars and Rebels, where you have to get past that first like half of the first season, and then it really starts to grab on you. Resistance is such an easy pickup. I think if you're a really relaxed Star Wars fan, especially someone like you, Resistance would be really easy to pick up, and then you can
I feel like it's like that for most like animated shows too. Like even stuff that I like anime shows like Hunter x Hunter or My Hero Academia. Like those first like handful of episodes are really geared towards children, and then they slowly start. And I mean, same with Clone Wars. Like they slowly started integrating those adult themes and a lot more violence. Like,
So
how many seasons? What season are we in of Clone Wars?
We're in 7. Season 7.
Javier says season 3 to 6 of Clone Wars is gold.
Oh yes, yeah. The first two, you really have to like get past the child jokes and stuff like that. And the same thing with Resistance. But once you get to 3 and on, it's like this is fantastic.
What if I was just like, hey, let me start with 3? Would I be lost?
Clone Wars is wonky because there's this. For some reason, Lucas likes to tell us things out of order. I have no idea why he likes to do that because you have to go on IGN
there's
list.
Like chronological orders you can look up on the internet because literally there's Nikki like some politician gets assassinated in like this 3-episode arc.
Yeah,
and then 2 episodes later he's back. He's there. I was like, wait, what? Yeah. What's going on?
And the Clone,
and it's like. Yeah, it's so strange.
And the Clone Wars movie is the debut of Clone Wars, like the show and stuff. That chronologically, that doesn't happen like until like I could be wrong, like season 2 or 3. So it's really weird.
It's so strange,
and it's very weird. But like, it is hard because like Clone Wars is a ton more filler episodes with Jar Jar and like Captain Jar Jar's in it, Captain Tarful's in it.
Wow.
There's just so many Rebels there's less of it. But there are a couple filler episodes, but they do sort of come around to fit within the story. But if you were just to, hey, I'm gonna watch a animated show, Resistance is probably the easiest one to pick up because it's such a short story arc.
We'll see. But
what are they saying in chat again, guys? AndrewNicky.stream. If you want to drop us a Streamlabs, go ahead and hit us up with some questions. There is a little bit of news in the Star Wars universe with the new writer for the Kenobi series.
Oh, man.
Let me bring that up. But it's the guy that produced John Wick 3, and he also wrote for Zack Snyder's one of the zombie movies. I can't remember. What's his name? Joby Harold. So he's picking up after I can't remember the other writer left in January. He's now come on to write for the new Kenobi series, and Harloff said that he sees this as bad news, that he thinks the producers are coming in and like, oh look, TV can work for Star Wars, let me put my hand in this so I can get credit for it. If this was to happen in the middle of shooting, I'd be a little bit more worried, but the fact that they've halted shooting and now with all this corona business going on, it's kind of the best time to switch writers. So
that's my favorite term, all this corona business. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like,
get your dukes up. We got some corona business to handle. Yeah, cop.
Because if they were in the middle of shooting and they're like, oh, we don't like the way this is going, they stop shooting and they pick up a new writer. It's like, oh no, here we go again. But now since like they almost started shooting, they pulled back a bit. It's like, all right, let's put a halt on this, see where we're at, and then the whole stay in your houses started happening, and now it's like kind of like a blessing in disguise if you can think of it that way, that now they have all this time to like flesh out the story and they already bring in new writers, so they have more time to do this. My only concern is now that is the story going to be the same as to what we were sort of not promised, but like what we were expecting? Again, that whole expectation to reality. So I
think it goes back to like Filoni got to do whatever he wanted with The Mandalorian because The Mandalorian is just that. He's just The Mandalorian. There's no ties to the original trilogy. Now that we have seen that everyone loves The Mandalorian and Star Wars TV might be the way of the future of telling these longer arching stories, because one of the main things, whether you like Rise of Skywalker or not, it felt rushed. Like it felt like we got to go to this place, to go to this place, to go to this place, to get this, to get this, to get that, and then okay, we're done. Like it just felt like a lot. So maybe TV is the way to go. Big budget TV, like especially Disney Plus and even an MCU like Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it just feels like now that people see that, okay, this could work. Plus, you have an A-list star in Ewan McGregor with his face out there. It's one thing, like everyone loves Pedro Pascal and he's going to be in Wonder Woman. Like everyone loves him, but you don't really see his face. You don't go to see Mandalorian for Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
You're going to see Obi-Wan for Ewan McGregor because he is the one saving grace of the prequels. Whether you like him or love him, everyone says first thing they say is Ewan McGregor is perfect.
Yeah.
And so yes, I do feel like a lot of producers want like their hands in the cookie jar. Now I don't know if that's going to be a good or bad thing, but this is why I want my Star Wars to be away from the Skywalker trilogy, Skywalker saga, whatever you want to call it. I want it away. Like I like the the Rogue One guy, what's his name? Cassian Andor.
Yeah.
I like that idea, like, because he was the one interesting character from that
Yeah,
show.
that,
Like, oh, I'm fighting
yeah.
this since I was 6. I want to see that.
Yeah.
I do want to see Obi-Wan because of Ewan McGregor. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I don't want to see a young Luke Skywalker. I don't want to see a young Han Solo, because we see what happens. Everyone has their own stories to tell, and everyone with money, when it comes to Disney, has a say in this, and it just gets bogged down. It just gets like, oh my God, can we... I'm not in panic mode for the show yet, but I'm just like, it's gonna be a lot of fan service, and it's not gonna tell it like a true story. That's what I'm truly worried about. Is like, it's just gonna be like, hey, remember when Obi-Wan said this thing in this episode? Because he's gonna say it again.
Yeah.
It's like, ah, great.
Yeah, I'm not in full panic mode just yet. I think once who's directing? What's her name? Oh my, she directed that one episode of The Mandalorian. She's directing all of Obi-Wan.
Oh, Deborah Chow?
Deborah Chow. If she steps away, then I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Now Disney has no idea what they're doing. They just lost a grade A talented director, because I think she has some of my favorite episodes out of The Mandalorian. If you lose her, then I'm like, okay, what are they doing over there? Why not just let her do what she can do, and just tell this Obi-Wan story? And that's when but I'm a little concerned at the fact that they're already bringing another writer in, like maybe something. For all we know, he's maybe just polishing things up. Maybe like the bricks, like the foundation's already there. He's just adding a couple of like nuances to it. So I'm not sure. I'm not full panic mode. I'm a little concerned, but not fully worried about it. Do you have anything to say about that?
I sure don't, but I just want to interject.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we had a stream that's from
I
Brandy.
just want to interject that Brandy's awesome. She donated. She said, "You know me, no questions. Just this."
Thank you, Brandy, for that. Again, guys, Andrew and Nicki .stream for those Streamlabs. So I think that's it. There's this other news of there's a comic provider or like not production company or something like that produces all the comics for Marvel and stuff like that. They're shutting down because of this Corona business.
This whole Corona business.
So they're
Goddamn Corona business.
Yeah, so the comic distribution is
see?
going to slow down, and it affects Star Wars because more Star Wars is under the Marvel umbrella for the comics.
Yeah.
So I'm not so into the comic. It's so hard to keep up with the comics because it's weekly issues, and there's just so many so much fluff, and just I wait for the whole collection things, and I always I'll message Alex like, hey, what story should I read next, or what?
Yeah.
So
that's how I'm with Walking Dead. I have all the compendiums. Like, I don't have any of the individual episodes, but I just wait for a compendium.
Yeah.
And there's a 4th one out. I'm waiting for that. But I've read a few of the Dr. Aphra ones, and I like Dr. Aphra, and I think that would be a fun either adult animated show, especially with the two murder
the two murder bots.
The two murder bots of C-3PO and R2-D2 would be great. But yeah, that does suck. I mean, just overall everything sucks right now when it comes to everybody shutting down and getting furloughed, and AMC might not even make it back off this thing unless they get some new investors or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we just got another Streamlabs in from, who was it from, Nicki?
Brandon Buck. One thing that I need to do is, it looks like we need to use the old link, because people are getting an unsecure message.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what
So
that
I got to
is.
figure out what the old link was.
Yes, it was, so the old link is streamlabs.com/videos by Andrew 1.
Oh,
so that's the old link. I'll go on and fix that. Because I'm trying to branding, guys. As you notice, the channel is now known as Andrew and Nicki, not Videos by Andrew, because obviously Nicki is more involved with the channel now than she's ever been. So that's why we ended up rebranding. So I was trying to get branding all over the place and stuff like that. So yeah. So
have you seen her eyeliner today?
It's just sharp enough to stab a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I like it. So Brandon Buck asked, what is one dream Star Wars movie you want to see?
Ooh, dream Star Wars movie. Let's start off. Nicki's been silent for this entire time. A lot of people have just been.
I think I just did that right.
Yes. So, what would your dream Star Wars movie be?
I'm a terrible person to start this question on.
But something that you would love to maybe a side character or a side story, or get deeper into this storyline or something like that. What is something that you want? Something that you're curious about as a casual Star Wars fan. If Lucasfilm's like, hey, we're coming out with this movie tomorrow, what would you want? What would you say? Yeah, I like that.
That's a thinker. I feel like I'll probably be basic and just say that I would be interested to see more about Obi-Wan, but we're getting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun to have like a feature-length movie following bounty hunters.
Yeah, so like a Boba Fett, like
Yeah.
Bounty Hunter Guild movie. That'd
Yeah.
be really
That's
cool.
good.
I also kind of feel like it would be really cool if somebody explored a horror Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I don't know, just because that one scene in The Mandalorian that I brought up last week, like that, like the Bill Burr one, when you see the Mandalorian like
hunting everybody down,
sneaking
That
up
was
in
really
all the
cool.
flashing lights, that was sick,
Yeah.
and it felt very horror like.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be kind of cool. I think somebody out there in the internet said something about. Oh wait, what did they say? They said something about like Order 66 and like. Somebody continuing on Order 66 with like droids and whatever, and I don't know. I think they could definitely explore something horror, and I think that'd be pretty cool to
That'd be
see
cool.
something with Vader or Maul.
Nice. Yeah.
I
What about you, Ben?
I do like that horror aspect, or that would be cool. Like that. Star Wars needs a new theme.
Yeah.
Like it needs like a noir theme, like a
Yeah.
street level noir theme or a horror theme or something like that. My number one, honestly, since I was a little kid, has been a Top Gun movie with Wedge Antilles.
You
Like-
stole my answer. You
Like-
stole my freaking
Like I
answer.
want to see
Wow.
I want to see some. We like besides that one tracking shot in Force Awakens, we have not gotten any good dogfighting. Like we are out in the vacuum of space, and we need to get some 1v1 on Rust battles between an elite TIE fighter pilot and an elite X-Wing pilot. Like,
man.
we need to do it, and I think that would be really cool. Or like I think I mentioned last time, like James Mangold, who was supposed to do Boba Fett, but now he's not. Him doing like a Ford v Ferrari pod racing movie.
Oh yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Or like a some kind of like a space racing, because like space racing is a thing. Like a what is like that like what is that racing, like a car racing that you race across the country? It's
Surfing USA.
No.
No,
It- it's
what
like
is that?
it's like a
Arcade
circuit. It's like,
game.
Cruising USA.
Cruising USA.
yeah, but it's like a circuit.
Calm down, Beach Boys.
It's like a circuit. It's like a circuit type of racing, but it's
I
like
don't
that.
like
It's
that.
like
Talk
that,
about
but in space. Because there's a comic. There's a comic book that I actually did read with Han. He enters this annual race as cover to pick up rebels, and like they stop on each point. Each waypoint is a new planet. And
Like
they pick
Baby Driver, but with pod racing.
something like that. Like no, but with like space races. I think that'd be really cool. But but you stole my answer. Like I want to see a rogue squadron movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Led by Wedge Antilles. Like he like Luke goes off and like he's doing his Jedi business, and Wedge Antilles is left, and he rises to the ranks and becomes rogue leader. And like I want to see that movie. That'd be
Well, like
100%.
now that we have the Bad Batch, I've always been like, ever since the Tartarovsky series, I've always been a big ARC Trooper fan.
Yeah.
Now that we have the Bad Batch, give me a Bad Batch movie.
That'd be pretty
Like
cool.
make it like grizzled and make it a war film. Like
Yeah.
don't pull punches. Like make it a series or something like that if you want. And just like have them going on these covert missions where they're just going up to droids and like
Yeah, that'd be cool. We got in another Streamlabs from
We sure did.
Ferris.
Ferris Muthana. But before we get to that, just want to say some of these other things because he actually is segueing nicely into the topic of the night.
Yeah.
So some of the Star Wars movies people would like to see. Ben read Ferris Mind, pod racing movie.
nice.
A Sheev Palpatine movie from Friedrich Sullivan III, who I might suspect is
Sebonius, yeah.
judging by that dog picture. I just need more Baby Yoda from Heather. Brandy would be all over horror Star Wars. Underground Coruscant,
Oh, like
Justin Town.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be the noir series right there. Is like Underground Coruscant.
Oh yeah.
Is there a bounty hunter with a hat that looks like a cowboy hat? Alex the Great asks.
What's his name?
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, yes, thank you.
Had been. Oh yes, I do see some people answered that question, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if you guys knew it too.
Ben actually got before I did.
Plagueis series with Sheev in it.
I would love it. Yeah, that Plagueis book is so. Have you read that Plagueis book, Ben?
No,
Oh,
I've got
so good.
The Bane novel, like the trilogy, on my wish list. So I want to start that, and then I'm almost done with the Thrawn alliances.
So that one was good too. I like that
Yeah.
one. But yeah, the Thrawn, they just might as well make the Plagueis novel canon. It fits so well into the timeline, and it connects things that you never thought of, and like it explains certain things within canon that I think would be really cool. So that just either adapt it, retell it, or just make it canon because it's so good. Let's go ahead and get to the Streamlabs.
Thank you for that, Brandon Buck. Ferris Muthana with a donation. What is your favorite lightsaber battle?
So that's a very good segue.
And he says, mine will always be the Phantom Menace.
Ooh, nice. So great segue into our main topic of tonight's stream. So tonight's stream is all about our favorite battles, not just lightsaber battles, but like space battles, ground battles, and also lightsaber battles. So let's start off with the ground battles. Let's start off with, let's go to Ben this time. So what was your favorite ground battle of, and it isn't just not even limited to the movies. It can be to the series as well. But most likely we'll be talking about movie stuff because that's what people are most familiar with. You okay over there?
How's that coffee, Nikki? Your eyes went so wide.
I didn't want to be a nuisance while I was having my drink.
Yes, this is much less distracting.
This is great for our audio listeners.
I also don't want to be near the microphone if I'm drinking because I feel like swallowing sounds are so gross, and I just don't want to do that.
Hey, it's ASMR for some people.
No, it's gross.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So your favorite ground battle, Ben?
Streamlabs your questions about swallowing, guys.
And the sounds associated with them.
Yes, the sounds associated with swallowing. Can't go wrong with Duel of the Fates, especially with that. Oh wait, we're talking about ground battles.
Ground battles. We'll get the lightsaber battles. That's the last one we'll talk about.
Ground battles. I'd have to say from Clone Wars, the show, the Battle of Geonosis Part 2, when they go back to Geonosis. And they discover like the parasitic worms and stuff like that.
Oh,
that
yes.
whole, I think it's like 10 episodes almost.
Almost, yeah. It's a multi-episode arc, yeah.
It's a lot of episodes, and it felt like the first time that I thought they might lose, because there are a few episodes where like a few Jedi die, like defending this, like a supply run or something like that.
Yeah. And
they have to fall back a lot. It felt like the first time where I was like, oh, this is like an actual fight. They're just not, mowing through hundreds of droids.
Yeah.
So that was mine, just because like, especially in a planet where like we're kind of familiar with it. We've seen the Geonosians. They're so creepy and they can fly and they have like these sound blasters. Like, I've always liked their weapons. And so them going back and having to fight them again, and then it being like like the first battle of Geonosis took like 20 minutes and like they won. This one, like, they were just getting their ass kicked the whole time, and I think they had to retreat off the entire planet. And even after that, like, some of the stormtroopers got infected with that parasite. Like,
that goes up your nose.
That whole arc with Geonosis, it was great.
Yeah, that was really. I will say, if I was to dive into Clone Wars, I think the more recent one, the Bad Batch one, when you first see them fight, that was a really cool battle.
For sure.
But what's your favorite ground battle, Nikki?
I would probably say the Battle of Scarif in Rogue One.
That was my answer too.
I don't know. It just felt like a gritty, like if you can forget the fact that they're shooting blasters at each other, it felt like almost like a war movie-ish,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just appreciated the more. I feel stupid saying this, but like the realism,
more real,
of that fight. It just felt more gritty than some of the other ground battles we've seen.
Yeah, I would say the Battle of Scarif for the ground battle is my favorite, just because again it's like it brings the war in Star Wars, and like one of my biggest pet peeves about like the Battle of Geonosis is it's two big groups of like droids and the clones just running at each other, not taking cover.
Yeah.
Not it's like, oh hey, boom, 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 boom. It's like this is like there's actual strategy involved. There's stakes involved. Yeah. There's people die. Like actual main characters eat it in this battle. And like I like the whole strategy of like them like spreading their troops out, making them feel like there's more of them than there are. And then you get Bodhi on the radio like, hey, we're pinned down over here. Send the reinforcements out. And the whole goal is just to get all the stormtroopers out of the Citadel Tower. I like the strategy that goes behind it. I think Rogue One is my favorite looking film, just cinematography wise, I really like the Battle of Scarif for the ground war, and just the whole thing that went into it, and the fact that it is more war feeling out of all the ground battles. Yeah,
because like nobody makes it out of there. So
yeah, that's true too.
It's
I think
real.
a close second for me would probably be the Battle of Hoth.
That was gonna be my second as well.
Yeah,
because like that was like the first time you really saw a ground battle in Star Wars.
Yeah, and it had like real feel of like trench warfare.
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah.
It was great. Like I don't like Scarif that much, but you can kind of compare it to like Normandy, and like you said, like the beaches and stuff. Which it always made me so mad. Like that great shot of them running on the beach and them having like the AT-AT like shooting down at them. Like that felt like Saving Private Ryan in the theater in the trailer. Cut. And they don't include the best shot in the movie. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Battle of Hoth was like, it felt like World War One, like where it's just like, and then you see like, oh hey, we destroyed the Death Star, we got them on their heels.
It's like, nope.
And then they just get their ass kicked.
It's like nope, they have other things too, not just the Death Star, kids. They got a whole fleet and all these other resources.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was like a close second for me. But let's go ahead and move on to let's go ahead and chat, guys. Go ahead and drop your favorite ground battle, if anything. You can also streamlab that to us as well.
Friedrich Sullivan the Third. I love the ground battle in Attack of the Clones. Clones versus droids.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you can notice that they addressed in I think the prequels. Well, whatever you feel about them, if you love them, if you hate them, they have some of the best special features out of any movie I've ever seen. Especially Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace has one of the greatest special features documentaries out of anything. But they address this in like the special features of like they were really aware that they got some complaints about the troopers just look like dudes in mocap suits just doing this on sound stages, and so they ended up bringing in an actual like Navy SEAL to do the mocaps for all of the clones when they're in battle. So it's like, okay, so you don't have that complaint anymore because you have actual military guys coming in to do mocap for the Clone Wars.
I didn't think about this, but Justin brings up, despite the movie, I thought the train battle in Solo was kind of cool.
Ooh, yeah, that
I
is
didn't
a
even
good
think
one.
about that.
I do like a nice train heist.
Even though there's no way Han
like,
could pull Chewie up.
Even like I would put the stuff in Solo where he's a stormtrooper feeling more like war than Rogue One to me.
Yeah, that's true too.
That felt like true like
I
chaos
forgot about
hell.
that.
Yeah, I think the reason that doesn't come to mind like so quickly, and I put Rogue One over it, is because that's like a 10-minute scene as opposed to like a 20-minute.
Yeah, it's not like a true battle, but like you're more focused. But if they had like gone into it and shown like what Han was going through as a stormtrooper, like that would have been some intense stuff.
That would have been really cool.
I forgot about Solo. Whoops.
But that's a great point. That train scene is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to star battles. So Nikki, your favorite star battle of Star Wars?
What was I? What did I say for this one?
I'm not sure.
Space battle. I think I said, I think I would say probably the Battle of Yavin, just because it's
so classic. Yeah.
Classic Star Wars, and also because I can't really think of anything better.
Thoughts on Battle of Yavin?
It's not a bad pick though. That trench run still holds up.
Oh yeah,
look at the size of that thing.
It's one of the most defining moments in cinema and visual effects too. Like it still holds up. In my opinion, a lot of the effects of the original trilogy, especially the original shot ones, still kind of hold up because they're not CG of the time. It's models, and you're filming actual things. Don't age. Yeah. I've always had this thing of they leaned hard in the Rise of Skywalker. They try to do as little CGI as possible. You can tell, especially with Maz Kanata. But like the whole thing with like filming actual models and stuff like that, it's like it's a tangible thing that you can actually reach out and touch, even though they're like small scale models. But it's still, you have to light it properly. You have to treat it like it's an actual like ship that's in space, so to speak, and you have to light it properly. So that's just one of the things that I think we've lost sight of with all this CG like big budget stuff. It's like, oh well, we can do it with CG. Go ahead and do it. Like, let's put 1,000 ships in there. It's like, well, if you try to do that in the 70s and 80s, it's like, how much time do we have to do this? 3 months? I can give you 20 ships.
Yeah.
But
especially like I don't want to steal your answer, but just like when the Super Star Destroyer like goes into the Death Star, like that was one of the coolest things as a little kid, like seeing that like knife thing like pierce the Death Star and like exploding.
So would that be your answer?
No, my favorite probably. Oh, I had it for a second. It's got to be the opening of Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, nice. That's a good answer. Like it's very short lived. It's very short lived.
But just that tracking shot of the two Jedi fighter pilots, and then you open it up, like you go on the other side of that ship, and you just see the entirety of the hell that is happening over Coruscant is so awesome.
That's really cool.
And then like the buzz droids are cool. You got to see a little bit of Anakin as a fighter pilot. I wish they would have given it a little bit more. But like But I mean, I'll go Tartarovsky's Clone Wars, where you do see Anakin as a fighter pilot fighting against what's her name? I always forget her name. What?
Is it
Yeah, Asajj
Ventress?
Ventress.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she was Ventress at that time, but
Mhm.
just like when they fire all the torpedoes on the other side of the ship and
Oh,
nothing's
yeah.
there, and he like barely beats them out, and they all hit all the
Yeah.
droid fighters. Like,
I gotta rewatch those. Those are so good.
it's all on
They're
YouTube. It's
so
literally
good.
it's like a 2-hour movie. It's
I have
so good.
I have like the DVD
Yeah.
cut of it. So,
If I had to give an honorable mention, because you were gonna say Battle of Yavin too, right?
no. But like before we get into mine, like the little bit of trivia knowledge here. With the battle
no.
over Coruscant. There's just one shot before they get to and revealing Anakin and R2. There's just one thing that shoots out of a ship and hits a Jedi cruiser. Do you guys know what that is?
I don't even remember that.
It was an
scene.
inside joke between the animators. It's a kitchen sink, because they made a joke that said like, yeah, we put everything in this shot, everything including the kitchen sink, and it is literally a kitchen sink that flies into a Jedi cruiser.
That's
Nerds.
amazing.
So it's a part of the
It's
special
canon.
feature. Yeah, it's canon. So, but my favorite star battle is Battle of Endor. There's I've yet
It's
battle
tough to beat.
Yes, Battle Scarif comes close with the Star Battle, but it's just that the stakes are there. It's like the fact that the Rebel Alliance threw everything they have at the second Death Star, and it's like we're not sure this might work, and it ended up being a trap, and they still came out victorious. Yeah, and like the way they elaborated on the novels too, like I think in Aftermath, Snap Wexley's mom Nora like describes it like, oh yeah, there's more ships than stars, and it just seems so ridiculous how many people are fighting in this battle, and like it's like she felt many times like, yep, this is how I die. I'm not going to see my kid anymore. I left to help the rebellion, and I haven't seen my son in like 10, 20, 12 years. This is how I die, and she came out victorious. So it's just hard to beat. And the fact that Lucas said, I want to remove some ships, because Lucas ILM said we can put more ships in there. He's like, no, let's pull. He ended up taking ships out because I think he
And
felt,
then 15 years later, he was like, put them back in.
put it back in there. We need more ships. Yeah, but
we need more stuff on screen for these special editions. It'll make it look better.
Yeah, and I would argue I like the weakness of the second Death Star over the first Death Star, because it seems less like of an oversight and less luck. It's like, all right, we have to fly into this thing and destroy it from the inside. And I've been waiting for them to like, all right, if we're gonna make a ride out of anything, give me the second assault on the Death Star. Let me fly into the Death Star. That looks so cool.
I'm surprised that's not a Star Tours
It should
thing.
be.
Like, that'd be intense.
You did the trench run in the original Star Tours. So
Yeah.
it's like, why not give me the Battle of Endor and like have me fly in them? I guess it might have been too complicated, but
I think a solid third place for me would be the beginning of Last Jedi, because it was like the last time you see Poe as like a fighter pilot. Like, I mean, he's in The Rise of Skywalker, but like he's not doing it like that. Like when you see him in Force Awakens, like just wiping like 30 dudes out in one continuous shot. It's one of the best things ever. And then you get a little taste of that in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Of him like, slamming on the brakes, doing all these maneuvers, taking on like the dreadnought basically by himself, and then having like the World War II bombers come in. Like, I thought it was awesome.
That was cool. Yeah. So
I would have said an honorable mention for Rise of Skywalker at the end.
The Battle of Exegol.
But the thing that just made me so mad is that they showed all their cards in the trailer.
Yeah, I hated that they did
Had
that.
they not done that, like, it's so dumb.
That moment would have been so awesome
God, could
if
you
they did not
imagine?
reveal it in the trailer.
Because they gave us everything, and everybody was picking it apart. No, here's this person's ship and that person's ship, and it's just the magic was totally lost.
I think the saving grace for that would have been, because in the novel version, again, I'm geeking out over the novel version. In the novel version, there's people actually call in, like they're calling into like the battle. It's like, oh, this person's standing by, and you get I think Nora Wexley calls in, the Ghost calls in, Kaz from Rebels calls in. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Why didn't they put this in the movie? I would have geeked out if that would have like saved that moment for me, but they decided not to do it.
They can't do that because
it's also
nobody
they
would
play
know.
it like a big reveal too. Like they play it like, oh, no one's answering. Oh, they answer. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
You put it in. You put the Millennium Falcon in front of 10,000 ships in the trailer, and that moment hasn't happened yet. So I'm not surprised when everybody shows up. Like, you cut that one moment out of the trailer, and granted, you probably do see it coming, but not at this like amazing,
there is
crazy
so
scale.
many ships.
And by the way, how did all those ships make it through the waypoint like that treacherous run? But,
Don't you
we
dare
won't
use
dissect
logic.
Rise of Skywalker right now. But it was just like it was such a poor choice of putting that in the trailer, because I was like, well, those 10,000 ships from the trailer haven't shown up. They're gonna show up in Exegol.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why when Chewie died, didn't really play all that well, the fake out of Chewie's. That's like he's in these moments in the trailer and we haven't seen them yet. So
Yeah.
and Poe Dameron
everyone's seen
dying
Rise
in
of
The Force
Skywalker.
Awakens was like, oh no, he's not dead. He's in the trailer in this other shot and we haven't seen that shot yet, so he's not dead. So it was just trailer reveals is always like, I don't want to see them, but I do want to see them. You know what I mean? It's like, as a Star Wars fan, I need to see this trailer, but I want to go in with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But like, I think were they just banking on the fact of like the lightning from Palpatine is gonna be a bigger moment? It's like,
I don't know.
I have a problem with that. That's one of my problems with the Rise of Skywalker. It's like, it's like, really? He can do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. Well, I guess. Okay, but
roll with it.
Yeah, so let us know in the chat, guys, what your favorite Star Battle is. You can always hit us up on Streamlabs at streamlabs.com/videos by Andrew 1. I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on with that domain.
My favorite Star Wars battle from Justin is the maid and Spaceballs sucking up the atmosphere and Lone Star flipping the switch.
She's gone from suck to blow.
Nikki
I haven't seen Spaceballs.
Nikki hasn't seen Spaceballs. Oh my god, maybe we'll do it as a watch along.
Use
on
the
our Patreon.
Schwartz. Yes.
The Schwartz.
Schwartz.
See, your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Is Schwartz?
Schwartz.
Those
They could say
balls?
Force.
Oh,
I like how
Force.
she's holding her headphones like, wait, what?
They're like
What?
like sliding off of my face.
Hey man, we ain't found shit out here.
I think
Such a funny movie.
I think I need to come back on Inside the Schmodown. I don't think I can be on this show because we are so just like we're just flying off in every direction.
Hey, that's the name of both of our shows, man. So yeah,
Cruising USA.
for those of you who are curious, Ben will be on Beyond the Schmodown for this next episode.
Wow, what an MVP.
Double feature for Ben Goddard, people.
Damn,
What's
boy.
up? So, but yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to lightsaber battles, and I'm going to start off this
Yes.
one with
Yes.
So my favorite lightsaber battle is the lightsaber battle between Luke and Vader in The Empire Strikes Back. I mean, it's cheap just to default to that, but is the choreography as flashy as others? Not really, but it's like Empire is arguably my favorite film of all time, and the fact that the stakes are there, the way that the saber fight is structured, from like it's them toying with each other at first, and then maybe Luke, they start to get into it a little bit, and then Vader just straight up toys with him, throwing stuff at him with the Force, and then he's fucking pissed and he's had enough and just goes ham on him at the very end. He gets a little lucky shot on him, and it's like, oh, all right, you've done it, and he just cuts his hand off. It's like, it's so the way it builds and like everything
That's your
behind
kid,
it.
man.
Yeah,
Damn.
and then you get the big reveal. So it's like it's an automatic default for many people, but I also have a close second, which I'll get into later. So what do you guys think about Empire Strikes Back, Vader versus Luke?
It's all right.
Oh, you can't deny like the emotion of it, but then like the reveal I feel overshadows the fight like on your first viewing. But then like you're saying, like you see Vader just feeling him out, like impressive, most impressive.
He fights him with one hand from the very from the beginning. He's like, oh, okay, I just need one hand for the son, and then yeah.
And I love the moment where he taps him on the shoulder and he's just like, done. Like, it's like when you're play fighting with your little brother and your little brother like slaps you too hard. You're like, that's it. And you just throw him against the wall. And then he starts crying and you're like, damn it, Mom.
I actually have a story like that. It's me and my older brother just fighting on the balcony in my parents' house. And like I accidentally clip him in the lip, and he's like, eyes go red, bloodshot, and he goes, flap, and he just decks me in the forehead. I'm like, oh my god.
Mom, look what he did.
Yeah, that's a great. But I like what's his name? James Earl Jones' like voice is like, and it's like, oh my god, that's so amazing. But what's your favorite lightsaber battle?
My favorite.
Don't be scared.
I'm embarrassed.
Don't be scared.
But my favorite is probably, I really enjoy the lightsaber battle between Kylo Ren and Rey on Kef Bir and Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, I see.
You almost had me. I thought you were gonna say Force Awakens.
Oh no.
Because that's in my top 5.
Yeah, mine
the
too.
Emotion in that fight is just.
That's a very
so
underrated
good.
saber
No,
fight.
that one is actually
That's
up there.
very underrated.
Probably okay. So Rey and Kylo in The Force Awakens, and also Phantom Menace. I don't mean to jump ahead, but like the Maul fight, those are probably both tied for second place.
Yeah, but
for me.
what is it about the Kef Bir fight between
The Kef Bir fight? I feel like it's also kind of like the Force Awakens fight, where I feel like it is kind of emotional. A lot like the Empire fight. I feel like Kylo is toying with her. Like he's pissed. Don't get me wrong. He's not just like one arm in it like Vader was, but he's just playing with her, and she's just tiring herself out like a little puppy, tugging at the ears of a bigger dog.
Yeah.
And she just absolutely tires herself out. You can just see that she's pissed. She's desperate. I don't even know what she's trying to accomplish in that moment, because I don't think well, I mean, she did actually try to kill him, but I hope everyone's seen Rise of Skywalker. But
yeah, but that one shot of him, like when she jumps over that wave.
Yeah, she does this like huge force jump over the wave.
That's the best shot of the movie.
Yeah, and then
him
he's
coming
just
out of that water.
He's like,
oh my god,
I need to jump. It's like
I need to jump.
It's like so Kylo Ren to like just go
so
against
good.
the grain, and like it's so good.
And I don't know. And that moment where she like shakes her hand, I don't know. I just think it's
They kind of elaborate, even though it's the wrong hand. They kind of elaborate in the novel, because when she heals the Vexlix snake on Pasana, she never really fully recovers of that, because she gives a bit of her life away, and like her hand just doesn't like fully heal throughout the entire story. But like she shakes her left hand, but it was her right hand, so it's like that's kind
I
of
thought
like
I heard
contradicting.
that
but
while they were filming,
I think
Adam Driver actually clipped her in the hand,
and they kept that take,
and it worked.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like very much like the forest scene in Force Awakens. I thought it was very emotionally charged, and I don't know. Just thought it was rad.
It ends with Ben coming back. The death of that scene for me is the death of Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. But
that was pretty cool.
We'll throw it over to Ben now. What's your favorite lightsaber duel?
Movie wise, choreography wise for movies, it's hard not to say Duel of the Fates or Revenge of the Sith. But I feel like Duel of Fates gets the edge just because I feel like that's the first really truly choreographed fight we've seen in Star Wars, and everyone was like, this is what lightsaber fighting that we've read in now the non-canon books. This is what we've been looking for.
Oh yeah.
Just like, especially with Maul, just like not like just no looking it to Obi-Wan, like not like he's laser focused on the master with Qui-Gon, because he knows that's the real threat. And he's just like, Obi-Wan, you're nothing. Just I'm gonna elbow you in the face real quick and toss you off a building.
Oh yeah.
But for overall, it has to be Obi-Wan versus Savage and Darth Maul. After I can't remember what other Jedi gets killed by Savage on whatever planet where what's that scavenger guy's name? He's at Galaxy's Edge. I don't know.
Oh god.
But at Galaxy's Edge.
I
haven't been to Galaxy's Edge. Ben Hondo, yes.
Like it's when Savage and Maul come to Hondo's
planet.
You mean
Asajj?
Savage.
Oh yeah.
His
Sorry.
brother.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's really good.
He takes him on 2v1, and then like he keeps kicking Savage's knee, and eventually breaks it. And then he beats and then cuts off. I think he cuts off his arm too. Like basically almost kills both of them.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like the ultimate Obi-Wan moment of like how truly powerful he is. But it's when it comes to the movies, it's more about the emotion for me, and that's why I really do put that Force Awakens fight in the top 5.
Oh yeah.
Because like you see, and especially with Kylo just like hitting his wound. And they it's such great filmmaking because they showed how powerful Chewie's bowcaster is throughout the entire movie.
And then he gets shot by it.
It's not just killing people, it's blowing them 20 feet through the air. And the fact that he took a bowcaster shot and is still standing, that's why that's why Rey can keep up with him. That's why Finn can barely, not really keep up with him, but not immediately die. Like, because Kylo's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
And it's just pure hate and anger of what he's just going through and the conflict of what he's going through that's keeping him alive. And like just the snow falling and like all the little tiny trees that are getting chopped down all around them. And then that moment where she becomes one with the Force while like just like he's just holding is like, I can teach you. and you can see he doesn't even believe those words. And just the fight totally turns, and I love how the ground splits, and you can see like, oh, this is gonna be a rivalry from day one.
Yeah.
This is it right here, and I really love that fight.
Yeah, and I don't get the argument of people like, how is Rey able to beat him and have the upper hand? It's like, if you look at the fight and dissect that fight, Kylo Ren's in control the entire time.
Rey's running away.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and there's this one great shot where Finn takes 2 swings at him. He's like, whatever, dude. And he's like, he twirls his lightsaber, like, try again, bitch.
Fuck with it.
He literally turns his back and just like hits his chest, like hits his wound again. Like, Kylo Ren didn't even break a sweat against Finn.
The only time where he's not in control of the fight is when Rey lets the Force guide her.
Yeah.
And that's the only time. And like,
and like I was saying to you, we were watching Force Awakens the other day.
For no reason.
Well,
It's
not like
good.
It's not like I have to study or anything.
So we were just watching that, and we were talking about that scene and how it's ridiculous that everyone says, "Oh, how she's Mary Soup," you know. And I was saying like, because they were like, "Well, how can Finn? He's never even held a lightsaber. How can Finn wound Kylo Ren? You know, what a little bitch he is." I said to Andrew, "Was Mike Tyson never punched in a fight? Like, it's a fight. It's going to be a back and forth. I mean, some of the greatest fighters out there, did they never take a punch?
Yeah,
like, come on. Like, that's what happens in a fight."
Yeah.
So.
and also, it's like Finn was raised as a stormtrooper. He's got weapons training.
Oh,
That doesn't mean he's never like. You see him with like, the vibro axe or whatever that's called.
It's,
like he's
Z6
good with
baton.
that.
Z6 baton.
Flexing.
Z6 baton.
Well, you know what? They're called vibro blades in the comic. So you know what? Come at me, bro.
Well, you know
Sorry.
what? Actually.
Well, in the
he's got the glasses.
Excuse me.
So we got a couple
Disney
Streamlabs
shill.
in. We got a couple Streamlabs in. Let's go ahead. And
So
jump to
we
those
got
before we
2
move on.
Streamlabs from Ferris Muthana, who, man, you have been taking a beating tonight, and I am so sorry. Because I'm pretty sure 2 things were spoiled, and I'm very sorry about that.
No. We're sorry.
Oh, but Ferris says underrated lightsaber battles: Yoda v Dooku, or Yoda v Palpatine.
Okay, I'll jump in. Sorry, because
Okay,
I
go
have
ahead.
to say this because we're all the same age. I'm sorry. When I saw Yoda v Dooku as a freshman or sophomore in high school, it was amazing. Yes, we can look back on it and say like, oh, Yoda's too powerful to use lightsabers, yada yada yada. I'm sorry. When you see Yoda's shadow in the theater, knowing that battle is coming from teases of Attack of the Clones or whatever it's called, Attack of the Clones. Yeah, it's called Attack of the Clones. I'm not studying.
Well, actually, Ben, if you know,
and when you see the shadow,
it's actually episode 2.
And he doesn't even grab his lightsaber. He like force grabs it.
That's so cool though.
Like,
man.
I don't care, man. That thing was amazing. Like I was yelling and screaming in the theater as a 14, 15-year-old. I was all about that.
I have my own issues with, but like, I was just exactly like you. Like when it happens in theaters, like that is awesome. But like the only problems I have with it now is just like you can clearly see the stunt guy for Dooku. You can tell he's fighting nothing. He's fighting air. That's my biggest. And I also had that argument of like, well, they have to resort to lightsabers because it says lightsabers are greater than the Force, and I don't like that metaphor. But again, I was like you, like as like as a young guy, I was like, that's awesome. I've always wanted to see Yoda with a lightsaber. And then when it happened in Revenge of the Sith, Yoda versus the Emperor, it's like this is something we've always wanted to see: is Yoda fight the Emperor with a lightsaber. So like as a young fan and as a kid, it's like, yes, that's awesome. It's cool. But as my taste evolved, it's like, I really don't like this so much. But like the choreography for the Palpatine fight versus Yoda, I think is better choreographed than the one, because it looks like he's actually fighting this little creature that's jumping around him. And I never got the whole twirl your lightsaber behind your back move. I was like,
what if you cut yourself?
What does that move do? It just looks cool.
It was like someone broke down that Game of Thrones fight for the Dane, like when the young Ned Stark fight at the tower. Do you guys watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
The young Ned Stark, like the flashback fight, like the 6v2 one, and some like professional fencer like broke it down, and like where everyone's like spinning and stuff. It's like, would have gotten stabbed there, would have gotten stabbed there. So like, there's definitely obviously like the flair to it.
Yeah.
But the one thing I like about the Palpatine versus Yoda fight is that you see that Palpatine is stronger than Yoda in the Force, but Yoda has the edge in lightsaber fighting.
Yeah.
Yoda keeps trying to get close to Palpatine to stab him.
Yeah.
Like when he's throwing the Senate boxes at him.
Yeah.
Yoda's like trying to get close to him, and can only throw that one back and does it to get close to him. But Palpatine's just like, he's so strong in the Force because there's only one Sith. Like it's basically like all concentrated into him that he beats him in that moment.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I do like as a young Star Wars fan, it's like, this is awesome, but you know, it's in. I actually have a YouTube video ranking the movie once. Obviously, the Rise of Skywalker isn't included in it because it happened before the Rise of Skywalker. But I rank the movies according to the lightsaber duels, and I think the Yoda ones are near like the mid to the bottom for me. But
what's your last place? Because we always talk about the best. What's your least favorite?
I think my least favorite is Attack of the Clones. I think it is. Just because it could that Yoda fight is kind of because like it introduces so many weird because like obviously I've done martial arts for like
since he was a fetus
my entire life, so I dissect like choreography. Their clash points are so far away from their body. That's why like the Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan fight is so good because
they're going for it.
You look at their clash points; it's so close together. And like if you look at like your saber and say this is the hilt, and their clash points like maybe like a foot and a half above the hilt. When you move to Attack of the Clones, the clash point is like 3 feet from the hilt, and they're so far away. And whatever that rave thing between Dooku and Anakin is,
I got what they were going for.
I was like, what am I watching?
They were going for Empire Strikes Back with like the flashes of blue and red.
Yeah,
it didn't work. I got what they were trying to do, but it did not work.
It is so bad. I don't remember my initial reaction to it, like when in the theater. But every time I watch it now, I'm like, what are we doing here? What is this? What? And it's like I'm passing the lightsaber in front of my face. Ooh, I'm so artistic. It's like, oh my god, it's terrible.
The only reason that is not last place for me is because my last place is Palpatine versus 4 Jedi, and that 3 of them. They might as well be crash test dummies.
Yeah.
Like I realize Palpatine is Palpatine and he's that powerful.
Yeah.
But you can't shoot around Ian Ian McDermott, is that his name?
Yeah.
You can't shoot around him and he's like, this is him.
But those two first Jedi, Stacey Teen and Ian Kohler, go down so quick. It's like, what? What?
Yeah. Like they all have their lightsabers drawn. It'd be one thing if they didn't. And then like he flies across the room and there's like,
what? Yeah, but I love. That's definitely the fight is probably last bit, but the movies because like I lumped all the fights together. If that makes sense, so I rank the movies and I don't rank the individual fights. But yeah, that one's terrible.
It's just so rough. Like I've never seen such useless Jedi before in my life.
Least, Kit Fisto at least gets a couple of strikes in, and then he gets off really quickly too.
Kit Fisto deserved better.
Yeah, I know. All right. So
and then the other question, or not actually, it wasn't a question. Yeah. I want to say we were talking about, I don't know if we were talking about ground battle. Well, it was probably lightsaber battles. But Ferris said, Mustafar, enough said.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Mustafar fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan?
It goes a little too long because like I feel like it starts out really personal when they're like in the first scene when he does that backflip and they're just going at it. I'm like, holy crap, who choreographed this? Is amazing. But then like when like the controls go down, like the buildings are falling down, I'm like, okay, this is too much. Like this is a very personal, intimate thing. And when they're like basically choking each other, like I was like, okay, this is what I came to see. And then like them doing the Force and they're like equally powerful. It's great. But then like once they go back outside and they're like all the buildings and they're like jumping off lava waterfalls. I was like, all right, I get it, but come on.
My biggest issue is that there's no variation to the fight at all. Like I said, Empire is my favorite between Luke and Vader because there's rhythm. It progresses. Even the Phantom Menace between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Maul. You see them hesitate a bit in between these strikes. You know, they'll strike, wait, and Obi-Wan even goes as far as to fake a strike and then Qui-Gon comes in. There's variations to this fight. I feel like the one between Anakin and Obi-Wan is just constantly all right, cutscene. All right, it's come back. They're still going. I'm like, Jesus Christ, slow. Give me some, like, if you, I in my video, I equate it to, like, if you listen to a song that's like this fight, it's just constant, like, drums going. And it's like, this is the entire song. So, but it is, I do like the stakes behind it, the emotion behind it, but it's just, I wish they would have given me a little bit more variety in the fight. And a little bit more.
Different.
Yeah, pacing is a big issue.
Like, they never get tired either.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
I wish, like, you know, like, someone would, like, put their hands on their knees, like...
Yes.
They
Like,
do get to
I
that
wish I
point.
would have seen the, like, when Obi-Wan jumps onto that platform and the whole thing's going off the waterfall, like, you should have shown relief on his face, like, okay, it's over. And then Anakin, like, just... you know, force jumps. It's this amazing thing. And they don't mention it. They're just like, oh, yeah. He just force jumped 125 feet up a waterfall and just happened to land on a tiny little lava scooping droid. And there's no reaction shot of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's not like...
gold medal for
like,
long jump goes to...
Come on, man. What the... Like...
There is a moment where they're striking. They're on those platforms on the lava thing. And then they start to, like, break off and they're like... And they're actually, like, panting and like, they're really... That's like, give me more of that. I want to see more of that.
Yeah,
but,
like, when they're both on the platform and they, like, grab each other's wrists. Like, that's the first moment of fatigue you see. And I wish there would have been more. Like, Anakin should have tried to bite Obi-Wan right there or something.
Yeah, but it is... But as far as choreography-wise and as my initial reaction to it was like, oh, this is fantastic. But, it did... The Revenge of the Sith choreography... It solves the problem a bit, a couple of problems I had with Attack of the Clones, but then it introduced new ones, if that makes sense. But we just got another Streamlabs in from somebody.
You know, when I first saw the name, I was like, huh? Sinister, and I realized it's probably Sinister. Took me a minute, but I got there. Sinister said, just want to support. Y'all are killing it with Beyond the Schmodown. And Ben is cool too.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So we are running a little over. I do want to hit up our patron Commander Ferris Mathana submitted some topics for us to discuss because the Commander tier does allow for you to dictate the conversation on our weekly shows Beyond the Schmodown and here. So Ferris Mathana writes, what moment was it that sparked the love for Star Wars for you? And he has a couple more things as well, but like the moment that sparked your love for Star Wars, basically.
Well, I saw Return of the Jedi first, so it was R2-D2 shooting out the lightsaber and Luke, you know, because you know I'm a swimmer, so we always have like the diving board and stuff like that.
Nice.
So like I've tried that Luke maneuver so many times in my life to such disaster. Like like I had just bleeding because like those diving boards, you know, for divers they have that grip on them, so you know you're not wet and you don't slip. And so like, oh my God, my like I didn't realize how hard it was to like jump off something and catch yourself. And the first time I tried it,
momentum.
Oh,
no. That's awesome.
What are you doing?
Oh man, it's like I'm a big like when I was growing up. I think like star battles were my thing. I always wanted to be an X-wing pilot, and Jedi was obviously another thing that I would tell people that I wanted to be when I grew up. But I think
it's on your job resume.
Yeah, but like a moment that sparked. It's just like I don't. It's another one of those things where like I really don't know. It's like my first experience with Star Wars is so long ago.
Yeah.
That I grew up like Star Wars was always there. I never knew that exact. Like, I'm jealous of people like Nicki and like these newer fans that are coming to the property that like you can. It's so recent that you can know. It's like yep, that's what hooked me. It's been so long that I really don't know. I know this, but like
it's tough. It's because I remember like not even watching. Like I watched Star Wars and I didn't realize it was Star Wars. I was just watching a movie on TV and like then someone's like, "Oh, this is Star Wars." It's like, okay, like it wasn't some big thing. Like and then when I learned later, I was like, "Oh, Star Wars is huge." Like because like I didn't have a lot of nerdy friends at school or anything like that. I loved the movies when I watched them, but it wasn't like this is your first time watching Star Wars. Like my parents were like, oh, it's on TBS. Like we'll just watch Star Wars.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm curious about yours because you are a newer fan to the property.
I wouldn't say forced into Star Wars. I was ushered into Star Wars.
Netflix and chill over there with you too.
Sorry.
Well, because when we were dating, he was like, "You haven't seen Star Wars?" And I'm like, "No." Not a nerd. I didn't say that. But I'm like, no, I haven't seen it. So we watched him. And I don't know how we got onto the topic one day, but he must have like asked me something about Star Wars, and I'm like, when did that happen? And so then it turned into when we got engaged, he told me I had to watch all the Star Wars movies again before the marriage and pay attention to them. So it was a prereq to the marriage that I had to watch them all and put in the effort to pay attention. So that was my entrance into Star Wars.
Wow. So we've reached the root of the problem.
Well, I mean,
I'm
the
thinking,
first Star Wars that I saw in a theater was The Force Awakens.
yeah. So like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, there
So
had to be a
that's-
moment that really gripped you out of these new, because especially these new movies, I imagine has more impact on you than the
yeah,
previous ones.
I find that I do find myself liking the sequels.
Nikki,
A lot.
was the moment that gripped you the moment that Andrew said he would take full custody of the children if you didn't like Star Wars? Because I feel like that would be mine.
It was pretty rough, yeah, man. There's a lot of prereqs, a lot of conditions.
So what would you, like? Out of the sequel
It's in a
trilogy,
prenup.
yeah.
you have to get at least
You're not
80% of
wrong.
Schmodown. I'm gonna quiz you.
So out of the newer movies, is there like a moment that sticks in your head like that is like something that you absolutely love until like the end of time?
I
basically?
do love the moment, and I know this is one of your favorite moments. I do love the moment in the forest in
On
Force Awakens
Starkiller Base, yeah.
on Starkiller Base when Rey first calls the lightsaber to her, and it like whizzes by Kylo Ren
Yeah.
because he's a little cuckboy and he thinks
That's-
he's the one moving it.
Yeah, that's like top 5 moments for me.
So yeah, when she like gets it, and then she has this look on her face like, "How the fuck just happened? I guess I'll do this now." It was a pretty sweet moment.
I think
I don't know.
So did we get another Streamlabs in or
Yes, Ferris again. Thanks, Ferris, killing it.
thank you.
Which action director would you call in to help smooth out the action, a la the John Wick guys or someone else?
To smooth out the action?
Like, I guess, like, in those fight scenes that you were kind of like, oh, man.
Oh, man.
Wrote one, Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards, yeah.
Then I'll take Gareth Evans. He
Gareth-
directed The Raid.
Oh, ooh, yeah. I would say
I would chime in if I knew any
no,
directors.
Yeah, the Raid guys are good. Whoever like is in charge of the Jackie Chan team now, because I think Jackie Chan has some of the best choreographed fights
Oh yeah.
ever in cinema, including the Raid movies. Because I actually referenced it in that video. I talked about that. There's no wasted movements, and especially in Police Story 2. I think that's one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies because there's no wasted movements in any of the fight scenes. There might be a character in the background like that's not completely fighting Jackie at the moment, but he's doing something that matters to the fight or to what's going on in the situation. So whoever's in charge of that team now, I think would be fantastic to do. But we also have Ferris Mathana again. He has 2 other questions that he just submitted through Patreon. Again, patreon.com/Andrew and Nikki to become a member of the squadron. Favorite Star Wars movie and favorite character. So again, I default to Empire Strikes Back, and I said last week on our conversation with Riley that Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite Star Wars character.
Favorite Star Wars character overall?
Yes.
Come back to me.
So Ben, favorite movie and favorite character.
I think that my most rewatchable movie has to be The Force Awakens, though. Now,
I agree.
That's my second favorite. Yeah.
I told you guys last time I was on this, like those top 4 with Empire, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Return of the Jedi. Those can be number 1 any day.
Yeah.
New Hope is the solid 5th for me. But those 4, like, just it depends on what mood I'm in, depends on what the weather's like. It can go back and forth. But today, since we're talking about it so much, like I do have to say Force Awakens because there's just so much that I love. The humor, the characters, introducing Rey, Finn, and Poe.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford trying for the first time in like 20 years in a movie.
Yeah, he mails it in real hard.
Character Obi-Wan is probably mine as well, and that's why I was so excited to see his series because I've been wanting that so long.
Absolutely.
Because I like and that's the thing is that Obi-Wan's character is legitimately flawless in the prequel series and A New Hope and like as a Force Ghost and in the Clone Wars series. Like the guy who voices him is just so good.
James Arnold Taylor,
and so just overall he's just the best character for me.
Like when you think Jedi, like I know a lot of people go, oh yeah, Luke Skywalker. When I say Jedi, I'm talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi because like it's like he's like the de facto. I know.
Jedi.
Yeah, he is a Jedi, and the progression of his character through the prequels, Clone Wars, and when he shows up being in Rebels, like I think that's the best version I've ever seen of Obi-Wan Kenobi was in Rebels when he comes back. It's like that's the seasoned Jedi that I've always wanted, and he's finally gotten to that Alec Guinness Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like it's so he has some of the greatest lines in the novels and Clone Wars and Rebels. He's the best part about the prequels, in my opinion. So. Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi all day long.
Easily the best part about the prequels for sure.
Yeah. What about you?
Favorite movie? I'd have to agree that if I'm gonna just be like, hey, I'm chilling, let me put on a Star Wars, it's gonna be Force Awakens. Yeah. So that's probably my favorite that I would just watch voluntarily out of nowhere for no reason. Favorite character? I'm gonna give you 3. It's gonna be Rey and Leia because I don't know, girl power, I guess. Whatever.
It's gotta be more than just that.
Yeah. What am I talking about? I'm gonna go Rey with my favorite character from movies.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you're including Clone Wars, then the Obi-Wan, but what Rey's arc, and that's why
she's so good.
I have just so many problems with Rise of Skywalker, what they did with her.
Yeah.
But those first 2 movies with Rey like are legitimately perfect, and like I've never connected with a Star Wars character like I did with that woman, and it doesn't hurt that she's a flawlessly gorgeous person.
Yeah, she's just so cute and little and so cute. I just want to like hug her.
You know those 5 lists, the friends list, the 5 people that whatever.
Your hall pass list.
Yeah, Daisy's at the top for me. So just saying.
Too. Yeah, it's my imaginary girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. You know what I'm saying?
So right.
My girlfriend will definitely let me like hook up with.
But yeah,
but I would
say,
would you say Rey, Leia, like I said, last week or whatever, I never used to be like the girl power, kind of lady. But I don't know. Now I think it's cool for someone like my own daughter to be able to watch someone be a badass.
Her middle name is Rey, so.
Her middle name is Rey. But also, if I'm going to give some dude love, it's going to be Obi-Wan and Luke. And that's very predictable. But I like how Luke starts off like, man, my God, I'm going to drink my blue milk and get power converters, Tashi Station.
Okay, RB3.
He just starts off so like whiny and kind of annoying, and then he just becomes this like wise,
all the way to the Last Jedi,
all powerful Jedi. And Obi-Wan, he's got a pretty sweet story too. I just like how sassy he is. And I just think that's pretty cool.
He's so sassy. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's got probably the best sense of humor, I think, out of anyone.
Awesome. Yes.
In the movies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Poe's pretty cool, too, with sense of humor.
All right. Yeah. So thank you for that for Ferris Mathon and all the Streamlabs that everybody dropped in.
Chewie's a good pick, too.
Yeah. Chewie doesn't get enough love.
Yeah.
Neither, yeah. But yeah, I think that we're gonna go ahead. We ran over a little long today because that always happens when Ben's on our shows.
Why wouldn't we?
I blab.
I don't know. We vibe so well with you, and like I'm assuming our show next week or this coming weekend for Beyond the Shimona is gonna be 2 hours long, just because we can talk all day with Ben.
Mr. 15-hour stream over here.
Yeah. Right.
2 hours is like nothing.
Nothing.
So so thank you again, Ben, for joining us. Where can they find you online? Go ahead and plug away, my friend.
Right after this, honestly, it's like 6:20 right now. I'll be streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/the Ben Goddard. I'm always over there at least 4 or 5 nights a week. Go ahead and check me out over there, guys. Doing fun music streams, playing video games with Andrew himself. So if you want to join in tonight, Andrew, more than welcome to. Obviously, I don't know. I know it's like already almost 10 o'clock over there.
We'll
so
see.
Might be going
I might get in a couple of rounds, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But I'll be over there in just a little bit, guys. So check me out on there. I'm doing a lot of stuff over there.
Awesome.
Hell
All right, Nikki, where can they find you online?
Oh, I say things on Twitter at Dimmy, DIMMMYYY.
You can find me on Twitter, and I don't do anything on Instagram anymore. I don't know why I keep plugging it, but at Drew Dimalanta, DIMALNTA. And if you want to become a member of the squadron, go ahead and join. You're going to not see Ben Goddard at this moment, but thank you to all of our patrons. Go to patreon.com/Andrew and Nikki, NICKI. Thank you so much to our squadron officers that you see on the screen. Thank you to our squadron commanders, Tamor Butta and Ferris Mathana, who graciously donated a lot of Streamlabs today. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Ferris, and sorry for everything.
Yeah, so But yeah, we have plenty of content there. We have play-alongs with Nicki that we're going to be filming another one this weekend.
Oh,
But that's only for patrons now. So at any tier, you can do that.
At the Marvel exhibition match, we're going to both play.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
jump on that.
Jump on that, please. But
with
also
us.
with the Patreon, you get my replays from my Twitch account. So I do, like I said, I do Twitch with Ben every once. I'll jump on that. Tomorrow I'm gonna be starting my VFX watch-alongs, basically. So I'm gonna do a VFX scene, so you can see it from start to finish. Chat along with me while there's a lot of downtime, just because that's how VFX works. So come join me there, and if you want to watch the replay, you gotta join the Patreon. So where's my mouse? So, again, thank you, Ben, for joining us on this episode of Going Rogue. Join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 for our Pacific people.
Yeah.
Anything else that I'm missing
I don't think so. I think we hit all the bases. I think we knocked it out of the park.
So, thank you again for joining us, and we will see everyone next time. May the Force be with you, always.